Good afternoon, Scott Redler. Who am I? I'm the Chief Strategic Officer, yes. Welcome to today's recap. It's Tuesday. I'm feeling a little under the weather. You'll hear me sniffle a little bit. I apologize for that. But it's getting a little bristly here in the Northeast as the markets give the cold shoulder to the bears that have been trying to call a top for, I don't know, over a few months now. But anyway, let's not rub some salt in the wounds because it hasn't been that easy. You know, we've had some divergences add up, and it was very easy to be flat-footed today, as it felt as if the stock selection has been getting more narrow and more narrow. So, being in a few less things made some sense, and then you have the S&Ps make new highs, and I guess according to the chart patterns, that's been the place to be besides some select few places. But anyway, let's just run through it. You don't want to hear me babble. As far as the EWG, which is a proxy for Germany, which is what I talk about a lot just to show overseas markets. We talked about this reversal down here, which happened with a nice little red dog reversal right there. Then you had your ascending channel. This is when everyone out there was reiterating their bearish thesis on Europe. But what happens here? Sideways action, consolidating above the 8 and 21 day, and now you have a gap up. So with that said, you could now trade versus this. The DAX held 9,100, and we've been talking about 96, 9,700 for a while now. And PS, there is some room, I guess, to right here. And then who knows? Maybe at some point it tests a 200 day. And wouldn't that throw a few guys out there for a loop? If you did, get short when you broke the 8 and 21 day here, or when this ascending channel broke to the downside there, this has been a really nice opportunity for you. I'm not going to go into some overseas, the other markets because, I don't know. I don't think anyone really wants to hear it. So we'll go into spiders. All right, so here's the thing, guys. If you came in today pretty flat-footed, or you came in today not knowing what to expect, or you came in today listening to some guys out there on Twitter telling you to be all-in short or roll-up shorts, to do whatever it is that guys do out there that have a bearish thesis, you had a decision to make here, okay? This was your flag type pattern. We've had a few flag patterns, okay? First of all, just so you know, this big gap and go that gave us power above the 200 day has been in control besides the V bottom. Then you had this small area where you had consolidation where it came into the gap, came back above it, showed you some strength. And then I know on this day, I too was like, ooh, look at this. We have a doji in the spiders. Okay, what does that mean? It means a little lack of momentum. And after a big move like we've seen in the spiders, take a little caution. At the same time, we had a red dog reversal in the Russell, and the buyers were a little weak. And I think on this day, I went home short the spiders, short the IWMs, and pretty flat. So, to see what's next. So the next day, you had an inside day in the spiders showing, ooh, look, not much continuation to the downside. Then yesterday, another inside day, let the 8 day catch up. So if you came in short or all in short or whatever it is you did, today at 204.83, you had some time to make a choice, whether to cover, and if you came in flat, whether to put on a trade or, whatever. It was not like a blockbuster move, but again, if you've been rolling it up since here, it's a little bit more pain. So at this point, if you made the adjustment there, you could have, who knows, maybe shorted versus the highs if that's what you do. But anyway, this was your nice little push through. And if you remember this date, this was 11/13. The IWM on that day gave you, a little bit of a red dog reversal. So I remember people were kind of being funny on Twitter this day and like, oh, red dog, the Mo bro calling a top here. I'm like, I'm not calling a top. I'm calling a trade. You have your first engulfing down day. We came back below 118.08, and then and then I even think guys made fun of me on this day because I'm like, you know what? I was short from here, covering into this down move, and I'm just moving on. And everyone's like, well, why don't you wait to the 21 day? Why don't you wait to the 200 day? I'm like, because you know what? It was a nice trade, and I'll figure out what's next. You had another down day. A lot of guys yesterday were adding to their shorts on that day, and got a little trapped today. I will say though, if you look at this indice by itself, there is a small chance that you have a head and shoulders top ruin, where here's the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. I put a chart saying today, say watch 117, see if it gets rejected or reclaimed. It pushed through there and then came back below. So it's almost a small red dog reversal here, but it didn't fall apart. So we'll see what happens here. Because again, It's not like there's a gazillion longs out there and I'm in 10 positions loving life. It's not the case. I feel kind of like, first we'll get to that next, but here's your downtrend that's trading above. If this is this short-term head and shoulders pattern, you now have 117.12 to trade against, and if it happens to break below this 115.50, chances are you could see some weakness in this group. It doesn't mean, go all out short everywhere. It just means that the Russell is weaker after a big move and tends to give some clues that maybe you could get weakness elsewhere. For me, I came in long gold and silver today. Sold my Apple yesterday. Haven't been in BABA since that reversal around 119.45. And while the S&P was making new highs and I sold my gold and I held my silver, I felt kind of like, all right, I wish I was in more things, but I wasn't just going to go in and chase things and just put stuff out there to be involved. You don't need to do that, because there was a really nice move. GLD wasn't as high as it was when I woke up 4:30 this morning, but held in there. Here's your igniting bar in the GLDs. Here's your commitment, and here's a little bit of follow through, and it still has some room to about 116.34. I sold mine a little bit above 115 in the morning, and I talked about that, and I got rid of it somewhere around there too, and I just didn't stay with it. I stayed with the silver, even though it lagged, thinking that, maybe next day or so it plays a little bit of catch up. I got long this the same time I got long the GLDs when it broke above this, holding in here, thinking that it could trade above the prior high of 1572 and at least fill this gap. So, and it's slow. It's not a lot of beta, so I'm still there. The GDX was the way to go. A lot of guys on the site traded this, and this is where the relative strength has been. And this ignited above that. What was that? That was 118.60, and now it hit 120 and change. It's almost into resistance here. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Good job catching a counter trend trade. You could do it in our job. You had an outside day here showing some strength, and that was after it was well off the lows before the GLDs. And then, that SLW, which is silver wheaten, which is kind of like the same thing for the silver miners. Really nice move here too. Cleared this on day 3, coming into the 200 day. Doesn't mean it's going to make new highs and be a barn burner, but if you caught a counter trend trade here because the negativity was so bad, congratulations as well. So there are ways to catch counter trend trades also besides stocks that are trending above their 8 and 21 day in some kind of portfolio approach. Apple I sold yesterday, and on the little dip into the close I bought a little bit, but it's insignificant to what I've been holding. So you'll see it long on the VTF, but really I was out of most of today. I did buy some Qualcomm today, even though it's a laggard, trying to look for some kind of pattern, something to do. And a lot of these things seem to be, filling some parts of their gap. So into this gap, closing on the highs, I took some. You have a huge, hole here, and I guess they are coming for some of these type of names. So in this for a trade, it's not a leader, but I'm there. I also bought a little Guild. But I really don't like being long bios overnight, and I'm long this one. This one, got a little weaker early when it had this reversal here, broke the 8 and 21 day. Turned up right on the 100 day, so maybe there's a little bit more there. It was stronger earlier, so we'll see what happens there. Again, very insignificant. I have nothing really big right now because I'm just kind of tactically trading. Yesterday is when I kind of got rid of a lot of my portfolio approach. I've been trying to be in that for multiple weeks, and it's been real good to myself and hopefully those on the virtual trade floor. We've been moving around. Today I did try and buy BABA, and I wound up not holding it overnight. It really, to me, besides anticipating some kind of upgrade tomorrow, gave you really no reason or no signal to take it overnight. Okay, here was when it reversed. Some guys got short in 1945. Congratulations. I did get short, and I think I covered it somewhere in here, and I missed the second part of this move. Today, some shorted it below this 2-day pivot, which was 1315-ish. And then it came all the way down to 110.81. There was a small intraday trade, but it didn't amount to much, where I made a little bit and lost a little. It was pretty much a wash, but feel pretty happy that we made really good money when it cleared this and cleared 92 and change. Another really nice trade after earnings. I think we rode it from, besides the call spread here that was up over 200%, rode this trade probably to about, I think around here, 114-ish, before just trading it, and didn't get caught in this mess. So I think I'm trying to be a little perfect. I should have taken a little bit on the close, but again, it closed weak. It didn't show pressure all day. So for that, breaking the 8-day, which has been following, which changed the trend, I wasn't just going to be in a rush. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. This is your pivot to write down. You have 110.41. A really big level comes in around the 21-day, around 107. But obviously, it's going to have to get through this 110 first. Some are saying that you have a little trend here, that it also is right on. So if you wanted to be in a small amount and you were like, okay, I can't wait for this signal. I'm buying a little bit here because if it gaps up tomorrow, I'll be upset. That was a spot to be long a little bit. If you feel like you could be a little extra cute, perhaps you do see this, okay? And at that point, it's the trade has changed a little bit because it's so pent up. But I guess let's just take a look at some fibs here. Some are doing the Fibonacci from this breakout above there, which I don't even really know the exact spot to do it. There are 3 spots. You could do one from here, which is the bottom, okay, to the top. And if you did it from there, all we really came into was the 0.25% retracement, which means it's still super strong, and it could see the 0.382%, which is also the 21-day. All right, so if you start here, you're starting extra quick. This would be a little safer. So that's one spot according to this one, all the way from the lows. Some say you should be doing it from the breakout, and again, there's some controversy on where that was. Was it from here, or was it from here? So if it's from here, and you started, you're doing it, between the 0.25 and between the 0.38. So again, this still becomes a little bit more compelling. And then some think you should be doing the fib retracement from clearing the IPO high, which is right there, which is, boom, boom, boom. And if that's the case, it's retraced over 50% of the move from clearing the IPO high. So all in all, a lot of different, schools of thought here. So for me, because I'm a little risk averse and I try and be too perfect, which sometimes goes against me, guys. Listen, if we gap up, if someone upgrades it and says 130 tomorrow and it's up $1.50, I'll be a little upset that I tried to be too perfect because I didn't get caught in any of this mess. But I'd rather see some kind of red dog reversal, signal around 110.41, or maybe a red to green, a little bit more perfect into the 21 days. So I'm waiting. But all in all, watch the way this thing trades, and there'll be more opportunities at some particular point. Some money went into some of the low beta, low PE stocks. You still had the stocks had a great day. Intel was up a lot. Clack, nice little pattern there. SMHs, I guess, go with that because that's the ETF broke out of a nice bull flag above the 8-day. So that's where some of the action was today under the surface. But then again, the have-nots. Google still weak, below all the moving averages. They say Netflix still in indecision mode, doesn't know what to do here. So just keep that on the radar for some kind of break. I guess below this, some guys will probably say never filled the gap. It's below all the moving averages. Get short. If you're good at that, there you go. Then you have something like Facebook. It's still the jury's out. It's still very tight. Today I didn't touch it once, which I'm proud of myself because I touched it the day before here and lost money. Still going sideways, and at some point it might wake up, but until it, I guess, has tremendous volume and sticks, I'd be a little, sized down here because still the jury's out. Twitter, there's not much to get so excited about either. It tried to ignite right there, and then it opened up and failed here, and now it's just doing a whole lot of nothing, but it's still holding this, I guess. You could be glass half empty or half full here. Either way, driving a lot of people nuts because it's just been choppy and erratic. So why get nuts? We're all nuts enough to be trading this market. And some of the action was in the ags today. Okay, my girls were all over POT today. Congratulations. Hopefully you guys made some money. You guys talked about it in the morning when I was going over the plan around 9 o'clock. There you go there. Big move. Let's see. CF usually is best in breed. Not really today. What's Mosaic do? Where's Jill? She'd love this stock. Boom. Broke that downtrend. There you go. Stutter stepping higher. What did oil do today? Oil, not a hell of a lot. Closed red. Right near another pivot. So we'll see what happens with the market tomorrow. If it happens to break this lower pivot, that means it's breaking like 74-ish on crude, I guess. And then we'll see what happens next. Every level, it's broken below, retest, broken below. This one didn't even have the juice to retest this, so we'll see what's going on there. XLI, not much action. That's, oh no, sorry, XLI is a lot of action. I was thinking, sorry, XLE. Still hanging tough though, not falling apart with oil on the lows. So, see what that means. It's in an inside range here. I haven't really touched this in the last few sessions because there's nothing really to do here. It's still in this inside range ever since the red dog reversal of lows, but it's lagging below everything, so there's not much there. Even the OAHs, not much here either. Still a laggard sector below all the moving averages. Just doesn't really deserve your time unless you have an ideology that you need to be short this, that at some point it's going to make new lows, and if that's what you're good at, then I guess that's a candidate for it. It's not for me. And that's about it. It's what time is it? It's 4:22 Tuesday. Why does Tuesdays feel like a Thursday lately? S&P's made a new high, pretty much lonely new high without a lot of stocks with it. Still very specific, so pick and choose your spots. There's been money to be made on the short and long side. You just have to be a bit of a surgeon lately. You also don't want to get caught and stay past your welcome, kind of like Baba. Hit 120, and that's when and 115 is when everyone started putting out all those big buy recommendations, and now it's at below 111. So it goes to show you that you have to be in there before everyone starts talking about it. And I do think there'll be a spot to get in there again. Apple, I'm out of it. Actually, no, I'm in a little bit overnight, but really my size-wise, I'm out of it. Tried to be a little too cute, and now it's at highs and still looks good. And just trail things you don't want to miss, but trail them with less size. If you're trying to be short, versal level. Don't be stubborn and just roll it up like some guys have been doing in the S&P for a month, and continue to be prepped. The reason why I feel like I'm having a little success is because I show up every day at 6:30 in the morning. I start writing my note on the ferry at 6. I reiterate what I'm doing 4 times between writing the note, going over it with the morning call with Brittany, and then sitting at my desk and talking about it on the microphone at 9 o'clock, and then talking about it to the row at 9:20. I pretty much talk about my game plan until I'm blue in the face. So if I don't react to it or trade it, there's something wrong with me. But I feel you need to do that every single day to know where your levels are so you could act quick, because some of these things happen so fast and then it just dries up. If you show up to your seat at 10 to 9 and you don't do your work and you think you're all of a sudden going to know where the action is and know where your pivots are and know how to react, I think you're fooling yourself. And if you're not where you want to be and you're doing that, then it's because you lack your prep and lack your routine. And the only way you're going to have a nice routine and be able to keep it up is if you like it. So create a routine you like, and I'll see you tomorrow with Brittany for the morning call. Have a good night.